Donald Trump, the American dollar, and China. What to watch for during 2025? Donald Trump wants to boost exports, to bring American jobs back to the United States, and to shrink the American trade deficit. For that, he needs a lower value of the dollar. For that, he needs a weaker dollar. But at the same time, Donald Trump wants a strong dollar, and he will not brook any discussion of ending the exorbitant privilege, the centrality, the hegemony, the dominance of the American dollar in international transactions.
Yeah, that's probably a non-negotiable. Trump wants a strong America, but he wants a strong dollar as well. And going to war with China, going through a trade war with China is probably not the best course of action, if you ask me.
Donald Trump possibly have both. Donald Trump's first problem is that the tariffs that he has invested so much political capital in introducing, announcing, and advocating for will most likely boost the value of the dollar. Why? Primarily because every time there is global uncertainty, whenever there is a problem that emanates from the United States, whether that was the 2008 crisis or whatever crisis there is a paradoxical rush of foreign money into the United States, boosting the dollar. So if Trump's tariffs create global uncertainty, the likely outcome will be an increased value of the dollar. And that's his first problem, because if his tariffs succeed in creating a lot of consternation across the world, in China, in the European Union, in Britain, the result will be that even if imports initially shrink as a result of these large tariffs, the influx of money into the United States of capital is going to boost the value of the dollar, therefore countering whatever effects the tariffs had on limiting imports and enhancing American exports.
Yeah, I don't think Donald Trump wants to limit import to America as well. I don't think that's his plan at all, honestly. I think Donald Trump wants to trade with everybody, but he wants fair trade. He wants a trade deal that advantages the American people and the American company. Honestly, he just wants a fair playing field between all other countries. He doesn't want America to pay for everybody, and that totally makes sense to me.
Donald Trump's second problem is that if he proceeds with his very large tax cuts, especially for corporations and the oligarchs and the very rich in the United States, this is also going to attract into the United States foreign capital. And what will that do? Boost the value of the dollar, and therefore enhance the gap between American savings and investment, with investment being much greater than savings, which is a root cause of the American trade deficit. Trump's third problem is the exorbitant privilege of the United States dollar. It is the reason why every time there is a crisis, especially one emanating from within the United States, the dollar goes up and the US trade deficit gets worse, especially during periods of reduced demand, jobs, and employment within the United States. So if Donald Trump were serious about shrinking the American trade deficit, he would want to do away with the exorbitant privilege of the United States dollar. But of course, not only will he never allow himself to do that, because his best friends, his tribe, are the rentiers and the financiers, who will be aghast if the United States loses the exorbitant privilege of its dollar. It is highly unlikely that Donald Trump will want to be the first American president after the Second World War that loses the hegemonic power of the United States by losing the exorbitant privilege of the United States dollar. Some argue, and I think they do have a point, that maybe what he's trying to do, what Donald Trump is trying to do, is he is threatening the world, China and the European Union in particular, with very large tariffs in order to come to an arrangement with them to accept a depreciation of the Chinese yuan, of the
this is exactly what I think. I think Donald Trump don't want to go to trade war with anybody. He doesn't want a war. He don't want to trade war because he wants to trade and make money. And he's a businessman first, and he wants to make great deals. And he's using tariffs as a lever, as a negotiating lever, as is negotiating power to cut great deals for America, Americans company, and the American people. That's what he wants. He doesn't want to put tariff on everybody. He's using tariffs to have as a negotiation lever, and that's exactly what I think.
Euro of competing currencies in order for the United States to see its exports rise and its imports diminish. To cut a deal, in other words, something along the lines of what Ronald Reagan did in 1985, the infamous Plaza Accords, supposedly a multilateral meeting between the Europeans, the Americans, the Canadians, the Australians. But in reality, what the Plaza Accords were about was an ultimatum by Washington on Tokyo. Appreciate the yen massively, or else I'm going to slap large tariffs on Japanese exports. The Japanese are rolled over. They did as they were told. The reason why Japan's massive growth rates between 1950 and 1985 were eliminated, and why Japan lost its verve, its dynamism, was because they accepted those Plaza Accords. Is China likely to accept a new Plaza Accords? I assign a 0 probability.
Yeah, I don't think China wants to do that either. China wants to keep making money as well, wants to grow its economy and wants to grow its power and influence, and for that, China definitely needs a huge market that is the United States and Europe as well, secondarily. And it doesn't benefit China or the United States if there are tariffs on export or import at all. So I'm not so sure about that one.
To that possibility. China is no Japan. Japan was an occupied country by the United States. The United States wrote its constitution. There are tens of thousands of American soldiers still occupying Okinawa. China, I will repeat this once more, is not Japan. It is highly unlikely that they will accept, at a time when the capital account of China, if anything, would recommend from an economic point of view a depreciation of the yuan, they will never accept a massive appreciation of the kind that would make the difference for the United States trade deficit in the way that Donald Trump would like. So this is pie in the sky. No new Plaza Accords between the United States and Beijing this time are on the horizon. In that sense, it looks very unlikely that what Donald Trump wants, at least both his objectives of shrinking the US trade deficit and maintaining the exorbitant privilege of the dollar, that both these objectives will be satisfied at once in 2025, in the next 4 years. The great question, however,
Yeah, that's a big question that everybody is asking. Trump made a lot of promises during his campaign and he's got elected on these promises. People ultimately wanted change. They didn't want the same Biden policies and from Kamala Harris that ruined their life basically over the last 4 years. They wanted change. They wanted Donald Trump to cut down on inflation, grow the economy, focus on preserving the interest of America and the American people, cutting down on illegal immigration and ending wars all over the world and bringing peace and prosperity everywhere. That's what they wanted. That's what Donald Trump wants to do. But can he actually keep all of his promises or not? Is he gonna be able to do that? I'm not so sure about that one, but we will see. Let's hope for the best, that he will do great things during his presidency.
2025 and beyond concerns China's dilemma. Will Beijing decide to stay put, gaining time until the United States' internal contradictions, Trump's conundrum and dilemma, plays out? Or will Beijing make the choice, which it has not made yet? They have not made up their minds yet, and I think reasonably, will, however, at some point make the choice, make the decision to convert the BRICS area into a new version of Bretton Woods. Just as Bretton Woods had at its heart the US dollar, for the BRICS area to have the yuan at its heart, with more or less fixed exchange rates between the yuan, the rupiah, and other currencies, and with a view to recycle China's surpluses within the BRICS area, because that would be the greatest and most lethal danger for the exorbitant privilege of the dollar. This is not a decision that has been made as yet. Well, In 2025 or in the years following 2025, I think we shall know the answer. Till then, be well. Donald Trump.
So, I think China has one objective and one objective only. China wants Taiwan and wants to be at the top of the world, growing its power and influence and basically becoming number one. At the moment, the US is number one. It is the biggest economy, it is the biggest market, it is the biggest military, it is the biggest superpower in the world with a lot of power and influence, and China just want that for themselves. They want power, influence, money, and control over the rest of the world. Not only Europe, but also the United States and Africa and Asia, and they want Taiwan for that. They want computer chips that Taiwan makes, and they will go to war to get Taiwan back. Be 100% sure about that one. They will stop at nothing to get Taiwan back under China's control, the CCP's control, Xi Jinping's control. And they are building their deterrence right now. They are building tons of nukes, tons of missiles, tons of troops, tons of boats and planes and carriers to build their influence, power, and deterrence and military, so that when the times come to take back Taiwan, nobody will want to attack China back for Taiwan and fight with China for Taiwan. That's what they want to do. And I think they will stop at nothing, honestly. Brilliant macroeconomic and geopolitical analysis as usual, so comforting to listen to some common sense in the darkest time. Thank you. Yes, that was a clear analysis with novel ideas. I think he is right about many things in his speech. Great video. I always enjoy your outlook on the world economic view. I agree with your point very much. If I was to have to create economics with you, it would be interesting and enjoyable. I wish you would talk about India commitment to BRICS because it looks hesitated. I'm glad to see compliments in the kitchen. Okay. Wall Street is gleefully waiting for the US trade. I still remember Prophet Sun say, the game oligarchs play his head and I win tells you lose. Happy New Year. Yeah. We will see. We will see if Trump actually can boost the US economy once again, cut down on inflation, stop wars all over the world, stop illegal immigration, and brings peace and prosperity back. Hopefully, let's hope and pray for the best. Honestly, we will see and report it all right there on the channel. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video with me. Click right there to watch the next video, and I will see you there. Bye bye.